Welcome to the second part of the conversation with Annika Klyver. She is an enterprise architect, and in the previous part we learned that she created the Milky Way map as a missing link between enterprise design and architecture. Let's hear her on how we can get started with Milky Way mapping and bridging the gap.
Do you want to sharpen your skills as an enterprise architect? Welcome to Verbonden, the podcast where we combine insights from experienced professionals with real-world examples from the world of architecture. My name is Elise Luijks, and I am your guide through the layers of enterprise architecture, making it less mythical and more concrete. A lot of people who would listen to this conversation may have never done a Milky Way mapping before and think, okay, I'm working in this company, I'm going to take a paper and I'm going to start.
Yeah.
At this point, that's actually my personal question as well. How do I start? To me, it's not completely clear what elements are there or how do you start building?
Yeah.
And where do I find the info that I will need?
There is actually a couple of things that just were released this morning in the Edgy Sandbox, where you can get some more information of what is this Milky Way sort of thinking and so on. But to be very pragmatic with your paper, I would say draw a half circle or 3/4 of a circle. That will be sort of the core flow. Sometimes people refer to it as the main value flow.
Yeah.
And then you think of, okay, what is it that we do when we come up with new products? Some kind of innovation. Most organizations have some kind of innovation.
Yeah.
And then you have a step called product development, where you take the innovations and you make them tangible into something that you really sort of can offer the market. And then you would have some step of offering your products to the market. And then if it's a service, then the customers will then use it directly, or otherwise you would have like logistics, send it to them, or maybe if you're manufacturing like Scania, there is a big thing in doing the actual producing of the trucks. I mean, that's a major operation.
Yeah.
So that would be one step, and then maybe you have some kind of aftermarket or some kind of support or a sector there, and then usually I put sort of analytics or sort of how well did we do and so on in the bottom. So you would have like different steps.
Yeah, and it's mainly the process of creating the new products.
Yeah, you can say that.
The phase, the life cycle of a new product.
Or what you offer. I mean, if you're a government organization, that would be you would probably have legislation in the beginning, and then you would formulate some kind of value that you would have towards citizens.
All right.
And then I think it's what I didn't do in the beginning, but I would do now is to add the customer journey. So you clearly get this mix of what is it that people outside of our organization are asking for. So what we want to offer to them rather, because, and then you would get some help with the geography.
Yeah.
And then start digging.
Yeah. All right. Then start digging from the journey mapping.
Yeah.
A lot of people uncover processes, I'm guessing, then also the enterprise architect probably will enter the room and say, I have the capability map.
Yeah, and before you run into what is this process and what is the capability, for the sake of movement, allow yourself to be generous with the capabilities. What is it what we do? And sometimes there can be a theory discussion whether that is a process or a capability. I would just say, call it a capability, make it a box, and then that's what you need to do in order for the next step to be possible. And be really pragmatic.
And how does transformation, change management, and the company's identity come in the map?
That is an interesting thing too, and I think that is also what my sort of working together with Milan gave when this identity and purpose. It was kind of it wasn't like we didn't think of it, but it was not on top of mind. But when we look at it, it's really this thing, you have a map, but if you're not going on a journey, why do you need a map? So if identities and purposes are changing or maybe being challenged because you can't really live up to the purpose because something has changed, then you would, from the purpose, get sort of this direction. What do we need to either change, or what do we need to be careful with when we're changing? So we need to remember that we want to be like this or whatever. So that it is such a kind of an inner compass, you could say, of how do we want, when we drive change, what is important and what do we need to pay attention to?
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I think especially this part makes it very tangible for people to start. Yeah. My final question is it's more for you yourself. Because I believe in personal growth and everybody's always learning something new. What is your ambition or aspiration to learn in the next few months, or what you want to accomplish?
Yeah. Well, since I'm doing this in a large organization, I am kind of every day thinking of how can this be done better, because it's always, it's when it meets reality, then you need to kind of reinvent part of these things. So what we're currently working a lot with is how can we turn this into a clear shared knowledge and ways of thinking in a large organization. So there comes potentially like trainings or more visual material, maybe more written things. So it's making what we think and see that we have in the Milky Way currently at Drayton, how can we make that more tangible? And this comes into story writing. And I'm just starting a story, sort of a year of writing every fourth week. So this is the training that I'm taking. So this making it richer and exploring what could more storytelling in this context be.
Yeah, and that actually triggers me on the question story that you're telling within the company using the Milky Way map. To who do you tell this story to? Does everybody need to know it? Everybody in project management? Everybody in director level?
That is a very good question, and I don't think that there is the same story for everyone. I think there is this sort of main things with the steps and so on, and then depending on who you are and the challenges you're having, there are different ways of understanding why this is interesting. Yeah. But for us in the context where I am working, the value of having a shared understanding of what is it that we have and what is it that we want to sort of create, given the direction we're having, that is so important for us to be able to be efficient and also together be innovative with what we're doing. Because if everybody has their own little idea of what we're actually doing, then we spend our time figuring out that you're not thinking the same as I. And I'm not saying that that's waste, but I'm saying that with a shared story, we can use our time way better.
Yeah, especially in the context of Scania now and Trion. Yeah. That they have their own Milky Way map, but you can look if they are aligned in a certain way. Yeah,
and also how do we sort of connect to the others, and there's so many aspects of connecting. It's just not just the APIs, it's the culture, it's the thinking, it's the abilities, it's a lot of legislation, and we're busy.
Yeah. I don't want to conclude this interview with this question, without this question. Yeah. Where does the name come from?
Well, the thing is, when we started this back in 2013, there was another guy who did domain modeling, and he had done domain modeling about the pricing thing. And pricing in these sort of traveling business is really complex. I'm not saying that it wasn't a big model, but when I came and Daniel came with our Milky Way model, and into his room where he had his domain model on the wall. Yeah. We were like, you're here. And he was like this little square in pricing. And he was like, what?
Excuse me?
Exactly. What kind of model is that? It's like the entire universe. And then he sort of stopped and said, at least the entire Milky Way. And then Danny and I looked at each other and we said, now we have a name. Because people have been asking, what is this? What kind of map is this? I think we have a Milky Way. So that's how it started.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story. It's very inspiring. And I look forward in how it even progresses even more.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. It's always really, it's really fun to be able to share. And reach out. I have a LinkedIn account, and I am happy to sort of connect with people that are interested. And there is a lot on the Edgy side too.
Yeah, thanks.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to this insightful conversation with Annika. She is a truly skilled enterprise architect, and I hope you feel motivated to try a tool like Milky Way mapping in your own work. Join us next time for another conversation designed to connect the dots and enrich your thinking. Many thanks to Pieter-Jan Rombout for producing and editing, and to Lennart Busset for the intro music. And of course, thank you for listening, and see you next time.